Welcome back to Chapter 1. Section 1.8, Statement Relations. The statement relationships we're going to look at are contradiction and contrariety. Now, two statements are contradictories if and only if they cannot both be true and cannot both be false. That's contradictories. Now, two statements are contraries if and only if they cannot both be true, given the same conditions, but they can both be false. So our contradictories have opposite truth values, where our contraries, if one is true, the other is false, but if one is false, we know nothing about the truth value of the other. So let's look at this. This relationship between all ARB and no ARB is known as contraries. One is true, the other is false. But one is false, we know nothing about the truth value of the other. Okay, now this relationship, the relationship between all ARB and some A are not B. These are contradictories, and contradictories have opposite truth values. In this relationship between no ARB and some ARB, they are also contradictories. And contradictories have opposite truth values. So now you try. What is this relationship? Yes, they are contraries. And if one is true, the other is false. But if one is false, we know nothing about the other. All right, what is this relationship? They are contradictories. Contradictories have opposite truth values. If one is true, the other is false. If one is false, the other is true. Opposite truth values. And what is this relationship? They're also contradictories, and contradictories have opposite truth values. For the purposes of this class, this relationship here we're going to call undetermined. And this relationship here, also undetermined. And finally, this relationship also falls for us in our category of undetermined. So our relationships are contraries and contradictories. Now let's try using these. If all A or B is true, then some A or not B is? Well, these are contradictory, so they have opposite truth values. So some A or not B is going to be false. Let's try another one. If no A or B is true, then some A or B. This relationship, they're contradictories, so they have opposite truth values. So if one is true, the other is false. Let's try another. If all A or B is true, then no A or B is. Well, these are contraries. And if one is true, the other is false. And here, one is true, so we know that the other is false. All right, if no ARB is true, then all ARB is, well, we see that these are contraries, and if one is true, the other is false. So if no ARB is true, all ARB is false. Okay, if all A or B is false, then some A are not B. These are contradictories, opposite truth values. So if one is false, the other is true. No A or B is false, then some A or B has opposite truth values. So it's true. Some A or B is false, then no A or B is, well, they have opposite truth values. So if one is false, the other is true. Now, if all ARB is false, no ARB is, if one is true, the other is false. But if one is false, we know nothing about the truth value of the other. And here, one is false. So we know nothing about the truth value of the other. So we're going to say that that one is undetermined. Okay, if no ARB is false, all ARB is, well, if one is true, the other is false. But if one is false, we know nothing about the truth value of the other. And here, one of them's false. So we don't know anything about the truth value of the other. And we're going to state that that is undetermined. So here is your square of opposition, your relationships, contraries and contradictories. And the homework's going to ask you, complete the following statements with 3 possible alternatives: true, false, or undetermined. Good luck on your homework. If you have any questions, email me.